my people, it's G Money here, and today I've got another reaction video to a documentary on gangs in Chicago. You got O Block and then you got Tookaville, and I just want to know the education around it, on why the beef started. They got a beef going on, and I want to know why it started. So why not look at a documentary? A massive big ups to this person here, where I'm pointing. He gets an honourable mention because he got the hidden message correct and the duration correct. I'm going to be leaving another hidden message in this video. If you get the message right and the duration of it right and put it down in the comments, you will be getting a honourable mention. Big ups to everyone that's watching, locked in right now. Make sure you like, comment, share and subscribe, and let's get straight into the video. Gangs of Chicago, O Block versus Tookaville. So let's give this a little watch.
About the gangs of Chicago, we looked at how the Black Disciples and Gangster Disciples evolved over the decades since they were started in the late 60s, all the way up to the mid-2000s, where we saw the leadership of each gang begin to crumble. We of course took a brief look at the 2004 crackdown on the Black Disciples that saw their then leader, Marvel Thompson, indicted and taken off the street along with 41 other senior BDs. And we of course looked at how the city of Chicago ended up demolishing several of the large tenement buildings that were actually drug-dealing strongholds for both the Black
Looks mad gritty over there still. Fucking hell.
Disciples and Gangster Disciples over this period. The demolition of many of these gang-controlled blocks in Chicago left many younger members of both the GDs and BDs displaced, being forced to find new hoods and make new alliances to continue getting money in the street together. So today, we're going to take a closer look at two of the most well-known BD and GD sets that emerged after the demolition of those Chicago projects. In fact, we're going to be taking a look at possibly the most well-known BD set in history, O Block. But the O wasn't always O Block. Long before King Von and Chief Keef immortalized O Block forever in their lyrics, the BD-controlled Parkway Gardens blocks in Chicago used to go by the name Wick City. With Wick, W-I-C.
Wait. The projects, they call it, I swear in it. They call it the projects. But I'm going to say estate. That estate has like fenced like gates around it. Bruh. That's weird. I've never seen that before, you know.
Standing for wild, insane, and crazy.
But basically saying, this shit's dangerous. We gated this place off for a reason. Don't go past these gates.
In this case, the Wick is stylized with 3 eyes, mainly due to the BD's affinity with the number 3. In fact, the story goes that many of the young Black Disciples based at Parkway Gardens were actually the descendants of BDs who had worked under Marvel Thompson in The Castle before the big bust in 2004. And if you didn't know, The Castle was actually a large drug-dealing operation ran by the BDs in Chicago, back when the gang was much larger and had a much clearer and organized leadership. But by the time we get to the 2010s, the BDs in Wick City were much less organized, and essentially just an emerging BD set made up of displaced youngers with ties to that original operation. But as I've said on numerous videos on gang culture before, a lot of the reasons that gang emerge is for protection against other groups, so where there's a gang, there are usually ops. And in this case, Wick City's main opposition are a couple of Gangster Disciple sets located in adjacent blocks. One of these Gangster Disciples. Right, look at their area. That shit looks mad gritty, you know. I'm really intrigued by all the gang culture in United States. For real. Sets that is known to beef with Wick City are the St. Lawrence Boys, or STL, a crew that are based on 63rd and St. Lawrence. So you got Wick and then you got STL, and literally they're beefing, I swear, and they're constantly dissing people from. So literally, yeah, you got two gangs like literally across the road from each other, and it's like when they see each other, it's on site, yeah. You got some nerve, yo, shit on the curb. Boy, we put in work from the 64th and the 65th. We're not from the 63rd. Fair play. 63rd. And the STL GDs are also clicked up with another GD crew adjacent to them, known as EBT, who are located on 64th and South Eberhart Avenue.
Folks now shooting niggas in new assholes, let niggas be known STL EBT right here, man. Shout out to the game, man. Ain't no other shit. Three guys, man. You already know, man. Killer, man. Hey, what block I'm on, man? Man, you on EBT, man. This is right here, man. EBT.
STL and EBT are right next to each other and are often referred to collectively as STL EBT, and that territory in.
So they're connected then, yeah? Okay.
turn is right next to Parkway Gardens or Wick City. For the purpose of this video, until a major event happens that causes an area to change its name, I'll continue referring to it as its name at the time. So as we begin this story, there are two main sides, the Wick City BDs and the STL-EBT GDs. And if you think that's a lot of letters to remember, just think how many gang signs these guys have to learn. Now, it's hard to find one cataclysmic...
Yeah, they love their, like, gang signs and... I'm still learning.
event that has caused the enormous wave of beef between these two groups. What seems to be the reality is that some of this beef dates all the way back to high school days, where members from these opposing areas would get into pretty basic schoolyard fights. However, these small local schoolyard beefs would unfortunately escalate into deadly violence when those involved became old enough to get guns, likely facilitated by older BDs and GDs from their respective areas, pushing age-old feuds that probably date all the way back to the Marvel Thompson days of the BDs, or perhaps even earlier. But the thing is, one mustn't forget that in a lot of these stories, the people involved are basically children, teenagers, with many of them tragically having their lives taken before they're even old enough to buy a beer. And it's this fact that really makes the events that unfolded over just a few years even more tragic. And before we get into it, I just want to say, I know there's a lot of overlap between different gang sets in Chicago, so I just want to make it clear that for the purpose of this video, we're only focusing on a specific set of events that are significant to the early formation of Wick City, later becoming O Block. Who knows, in future videos I might branch out to other beefs involving other local gang sets that relate to O Block like 600 or Lamron. But for the purpose of today's video, we're going to remain hyper-focused on Wick City and STL-EBT, which will later become O Block and Tookaville. And I know there's a lot of online scoreboards out there that claim to kind of keep track of many of the unverified supposed tit-for-tat shootings between these groups, and many sites like Chiracology on Reddit, or one of the many excellent YouTube channels that covers Chicago drill news, have covered and distributed a lot of unverified info about supposed crimes that may or may not have happened as part of this beef. I'm not just going to regurgitate that info to you. Instead, we're just going to focus on the facts of the pivotal moments that made this. You know what? Yeah, I gotta give it to this dude. Yeah, this Trap Law Ross. Gotta give it to him because he really does his homework. He really does his homework, and I find him very. What's the word? I find him very intrigued. I'm very intrigued. I'm drawn by the way he's talking and the way he's explaining things. He's brilliant. Everyone go give him a... If you don't know about him already, go and check his other stuff. He's got loads of stuff. Escalate, taking you through the journey of how these young BD and GD sets escalated a feud to all-out gang war, and ultimately how as a result their block became the most deadly in America. Now, Parkway Gardens, where the Wick City BDs are located, was eventually named Chicago and America's most dangerous block. And this is mainly the result of a staggering amount of shootings that took place there between 2011 and 2014. And this is actually the exact window of time that we're going to take a look at in this video. And I'd say that it's pretty clear that Parkway Gardens' reputation for being dangerous is the direct result of the events that unfolded as part of this feud. And in no small part, a result of the involvement of some of the very dangerous individuals that inhabited these blocks during this period of time. Some of the names from the Wick City BD enforcers of the 2010s may be very familiar to you, especially if you've listened to popular Chicago drill music in recent years. Of course, the most famous names of all at this point are Chief Keef and King Von. Chief Keef is famously
I've heard of Chief Keef and King Von
block to the fullest, as well as fellow BD affiliated set 300, which Chief Keef has shouted out endlessly. However,
is King Von dead, guys? I'm pretty sure I heard about him dying recently. I don't know if that's true. Let me know in the comments if that's true. And if when did he die? I'm pretty sure it was recent, like last year, 2021. We'll see.
When it comes to gang violence, as far as we know, Chief Keef has no bodies. He might have a reputation on the streets and in his music for letting guns blast, but he doesn't claim to be a killer. Chief Keef always portrayed himself as more of a tough guy.
Yeah, but you would.
The fact that he was able to focus more on the music than on the streets as his career
You would deny that if he was.
Might be the reason that he's still alive with us today. The same, of course, can't be said for King Von, a Parkway Gardens veteran who supposedly caught numerous bodies and didn't care who knew it. Of course, only recently half taken over the rap game, releasing what often felt more like confessions than actual songs. But all the way back in the early 2010s, King Von had been repping his BD affiliation on social media to the fullest, holding down the blocks of Parkway and showing love to his gang for the entire world to see.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah.
Other big names in the Wick City BD set include feared supposed shooters like HK and J Money or J Munna. Then of course there's King Von's beloved BD bro.
No, it's G Money. It's G Money.
who is apparently a bit of a dynamic duo along with Von, with the close bond between these two becoming very relevant later in the story. And in fact, this is the exact reason why even right up until his death in 2020, King Von used to go by the name V-Roy on Twitter. And the fact that he comes from Wick City is why his Twitter handle still is @KingVon from the Wick. Basically, King Von and T-Roy loved their gang and they loved their block, holding it down with other Wick City members like Big A, OD, Trey 5, Platoon, Boss Money, Sharoid, Duke, who's actually been mentioned in numerous King Von lyrics, Rah Rah, aka Breezy, and Boss Top, who also became a rapper like Keith, even actually going on to drop a song called
See the
Wick
Americans,
City.
see the American gangsters or gang members, they got weird names, man. They got weird names, but then so do we, I think, in UK.
And even later falling out with Chief Keef after apparently stealing clothes from him, leading DJ Academics in the War of Chirac era to affectionately dub him the Diaper Bandit. And look, I know by no means is this a completely extensive list.
Wait.
Member who is
he stole clothes from him. What?
So guys, that's the end of the video today. Unfortunately, I couldn't edit the whole video and put it into one video because the video would be about 40 minutes long. I'm going to section it into different parts, so part 1, part 2, part 3, maybe part 4. I haven't checked. But if you've watched the video the whole way through to the end, the special code word is eyeball. I don't know why, it's just random. The first thing that comes to my head was eyeball. And also, if you have any other documentaries that you want me to watch or react to, drop them down in the comments. Peace out, people.